Welcome back to At First Glance. My name is Jared Watson.
And I'm Pastor Michael Miller. It's good to be back with you.
Pastor, it's been a while. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Me too.
It's been a good week.
It has been. It's been a great week. Yeah. All right. So today we are going through Luke 15. What was it? 1 through
10.
Through 10. That's right.
A couple of good parables there.
Yeah, we got the parable of the lost sheep, and we have the parable of the lost coin. We're losing stuff today.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we
But
find
finding.
it. But we're finding it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The parable of the lost sheep. This one's really, it's a really common image today.
It's a classic.
Yeah, we see it all the time. So it'll be exciting to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it.
All right.
All right.
Take it away.
Again, if you're following at home, this is Luke 15, 1 through 10. Now all the tax collectors and sinners were coming near to listen to him. This is Jesus. And the Pharisees and the scribes were grumbling and saying, "This fellow welcomes sinners and eats with them." So he told them this parable. "Which one of you, having 100 sheep and losing one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one that is lost until he finds it? When he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders and rejoices. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends and neighbors, saying to them, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost.' Just so, I tell you, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need no repentance. Or what woman, having 10 silver coins, if she loses one of them, does not light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? When she has found it, she calls together her friends and neighbors, saying, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found the coin that had been lost.' Just so, I tell you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents." A lot of hope in this one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this one. Jesus is really talking about, so there's an inherent sadness with one who falls into sin, as we all do.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's so much joy in repenting and starting again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah, and it names that it's God's intention to bring us into life.
Absolutely.
You know, that Jesus is all about welcoming people into life.
Yeah.
It's good news.
And I think we ended the last episode. I had said that God calls us into a higher life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is kind of what it's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven rejoices over one lost sinner who repents and is found again. And it gives me a sense of joy that we, as disciples of Christ, are called to go out and find these people who need the Lord and bring them to repentance. So in a sense, we're causing joy in heaven every time we do that successfully.
Mm-hmm.
And even just the attempt, I would hope, causes joy in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me feel real warm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's about living into that joy,
Yeah.
and being able to share that. And what gets in the way for it here is this sense of judgment about who's in and who's out, and who's right and who's wrong, who's good and who's bad. Jesus doesn't seem to be caught up in that. He's not trying to be on the right side of anybody's judgment. He's just inviting people into life. He's welcoming them into this way that is full of joy and hope. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's interesting. One of the titles we have for Jesus is the Good Shepherd, and this is a central image for that to me.
Mm-hmm.
The Good Shepherd goes out and finds his lost sheep, and having been a lost sheep many times in my life, and probably am right now, that's it's really I don't know. It's really good. It's good.
Mm-hmm. I think that's an expression of that central Lutheran theme of grace.
Absolutely.
That there's a giftedness in it. That God is reaching out, even if I'm lost right now and I don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
God is God is calling me and inviting me back. And when I hear that voice, then I have the opportunity again to turn and follow.
Absolutely. I'm really focusing on the lost sheep image because I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the stories that calls to mind for me is the story of King David as a child, um, fighting off tigers and lions and bears. Oh my, to be a shepherd.
Uh-huh.
And in that, it trains him to win the battle against Goliath that he's unknowingly been training for his entire life for.
Mm-hmm.
So this story is almost twofold for me. It's going and doing the work during the Great Commission that Jesus calls us to do, which is go and make disciples of all nations. That alone brings joy to the angels in heaven. But then it also feels like it's training us for heaven to win that, I don't know, the battle of our life, whatever that is.
That beyond what we know now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's funny how many stories there are of shepherds in the Bible. It's every person who is talked about almost as a shepherd of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the coin image?
The coin image. So the coin image, the parable of the lost coin here, it kind of reminds me of when I lose my keys, and I got to go to work. So I got to find my keys. Now, this lady is searching carefully. I tend not to do that. I tend to rip everything apart until I find my keys and just worry about it later. But even then, finding it doesn't cause joy. It causes like almost anxiety, over the entire time. I don't know where I'm going with this, but the parable of the lost coin is interesting to me.
To me, it's a relatively small thing.
It is
coin, and yet she searches so carefully to find it, and upon finding it, throws a party for all of her friends to celebrate.
Yeah, no kidding.
And if you could imagine somebody doing that over a relatively small thing, as a single coin, how much more would God in heaven celebrate the return of somebody who's been lost?
Absolutely.
I think that's what stands out in that particular story.
Right.
Throughout this chapter, we've heard the parable of the prodigal and his brother earlier during Lent, so it's not part of this reading today, but that's the third piece in this chapter, all about the ones who were lost but are now found, and that's the focus of God's desire and God's intent, and Jesus' purpose.
Absolutely.
So in the face of the religious leaders who are counting who's on the right side of the line, he's offering these images for the joy in bringing somebody into life.
And I think these images are really helpful, especially during the time, because these were such common occurrences.
So I think, when I think about these stories now and how this connects with us, it's like I think there are always times when we may not even be judged by somebody outside, but those voices in our heads that judge us is inadequate. You're not making the grade. You're just not. Does your life even have a purpose? Those kind of downgrading thoughts that kind of hide in the recesses of our mind and then speak up and pull us down. I think these stories are a particular encouragement.
Yeah.
To know that, I'm never beyond hope. God is always reaching out and seeking me and drawing me back into life and reminding me that I'm precious. Because that's the heart of these stories. This lost sheep is precious enough to leave all the others behind in order to find. This coin is precious enough for this woman to search her entire house and then have a party when she finds it. And the story of the two sons. This one who's squandered all of his father's wealth has gone away, and now he comes back hoping to be a hired hand, and the father runs out to embrace him and welcome him in.
Absolutely.
To know that you are that person, that we all are that person, that God desires to share the best with.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's always coming for us.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to look out and see him coming.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even have to, but it's nice to do that.
Yeah. And when we realize that we're that precious, and then think, that's the way Jesus kept inviting everybody, and God is embracing all of us that way. So then it shifts our mindset in terms of how we see one another.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is one of those, both of these parables are I think one of the things we can base our identity off of.
Mm-hmm.
I think in today's world we get caught up with how we identify ourselves. I might be this or this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, what we are first is a child of God and precious in His eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we inherently get our worth from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's comforting and almost convicting to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't want to be loved that much, because that comes with responsibilities.
Mm-hmm. So the stories here are being told to shift the mindset within the gospel story. Jesus is telling these little parable stories to shift the mindset of the people who aren't recognizing their own identity that way and are not therefore giving others the grace.
Yes.
So grace to all of you in this coming week, and may you experience that, receive that, and then be emboldened to share it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pastor. This was a good one.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you.
Thanks for joining us at First Glance. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.